Hi, how are you doing? I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Underground Reggie today here on the I'm In. Today we have writer-director Conrad Farrer with us today. Conrad, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, man. Today we're here to talk about your latest film that you have that's getting ready to come out, which is Fight in the Sky. For the audience that doesn't know about your film career and the movies that you'll be working on, can you explain a little bit of the synopsis of the film for the audience?
Yeah, of course. Fight in the Sky is a science fiction alien invasion film, which is coming out February 5th on DVD and digital. The movie is about a group of young researchers, young ufologists, a part of this college, who begin to track down these apocalyptic, strange, otherworldly sounds that are happening all around the world in the sky. And as they continue their journey and as they keep their research, finding all these sounds, they start to realize that these sounds may be emerging from extraterrestrial beings. And then the film becomes this massive science fiction alien invasion film.
Okay, so as being a film enthusiast yourself, are you a big fan of science fiction films?
I am a huge fan of science fiction films. In fact, I grew up watching so many of them, and I was heavily inspired by Spielberg's science fiction films like E.T. and War of the Worlds and Close Encounters. Obviously, the Alien films had a lot of impact in my youth. Signs, Contact. So yeah, I'm a huge science fiction nerd.
Okay, speaking of War of the Worlds, would you say that War of the Worlds had a little influence on your film Fight in the Sky?
Oh, absolutely. It might have had one of the biggest influences. I watched, that's actually the film that I've seen the most in theaters. Like, that is a record of mine. I saw that movie, I think, 9 or 10 times in theaters back in 2005. I was there opening day. I was there closing day. I was obsessed with War of the Worlds, and when I was young, I always wanted to do a movie like War of the Worlds. I said, I'm going to do a movie just like that someday. Like, even if I don't have this huge, multi-million-dollar budget, I want to try something like that. And I feel like my entire career has kind of led to doing this movie, and here we are now.
Okay, what is something that drew you into the Spielberg films, that drew you into liking those type of films?
Yeah, I've always loved his style, and I wouldn't say The Fight in the Sky is a Spielberg kind of film, but it has the spirit. I wanted to bring the spirit of an adventurous science fiction film. And I think, War of the Worlds was obviously one of the first ones. I think I was 14 years old when I watched that. But Jaws, is up there for me. It's, one of my favorite movies of all time. And E.T., of course, and Close Encounters, even one of his first films, Duel. So I just kind of I've always loved the way that Spielberg makes his cinema, his style of cinema. He makes it fun. He makes it engaging for the audience. And that's something that I wanted to achieve with Fight in the Sky.
Okay. So what is one of the things that made you want to become a writer and a film director?
Well, I was always inspired by cinema from a very young age. Even before I knew that I wanted to make movies, I always loved movies. I was obsessed. I was fascinated. I needed to know all of the trivia about all of the movies, and I watched them multiple times. That was my hobby. My hobby was to watch movies. And then when I was 12 years old, I started writing short stories and short fiction stories, mostly Harry Potter fiction stories. And then I said, wouldn't it be cool if someone were to, make one of my stories into a movie? Wouldn't that be nice? Mm-hmm. And then it dawned on me. And I said, oh my God, maybe I should do it. Maybe I should make my own movie, and I should try it out. And, of course, as soon as I did, I thought it was the greatest movie of all time. I thought I had made this masterpiece. I was 12 years old. Obviously, it was a terrible movie. But that got me hooked. That got me excited to make movies. That got me thinking, I caught the film bug. I wanted to make more and more movies. So since then, even in high school, when there would be a project due, I would try to make it into a video project somehow. And I would start doing little commercials for different things. I started doing short films, and I kept experimenting. And then I got really, really hooked. And I'm just glad that I've stuck with it all these years.
Would you say that you're a fan of the pre-planning process of the film work in the film world?
Of the planning process?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the more you prepare yourself, the better your film's going to be. And I think, honestly, like, that's the most crucial part of filmmaking, I think, is pre-production. Because if you're underprepared, then your film is just going to feel rushed. It's not going to feel very good. And that's some of the things that even myself today, I'm learning how to prepare myself even better. You know, you think you're going to have X amount of time to prepare yourself, but, you know, you just really have to pull your work together, and you have to have this incredible disciplinary ethic to create these kinds of movies. Otherwise, you know, they're not going to look very good. And research is also extremely important. You want to be able to do the research, and no matter what kind of movie you're making, because the more research you do, the better outcome your film will have.
Mm-hmm. So, with Fighting the Sky, would you say that one of the key things that you wanted to make sure that you added to the film was a high level of suspense?
Yeah, I would say so. I wanted to bring a balance of different genres, and suspense was obviously a big one. Like, I wanted the audience to feel a threat by these beings, by these UFOs, by these aliens. I wanted to have, you know, I mean, and suspense goes kind of along with the horror genre, mm-hmm. which I have loved doing. A lot of people know me for doing horror movies, actually. And I wanted to bring that on an even more professional level. Like, I really wanted to bring the audience into this very atmospheric, suspenseful environment.
Mm-hmm. And the reason I asked that is because after seeing the film, I thought it was a high level of build-up going into the actual encounters of the creatures actually appearing.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do. Absolutely. We're trying to kind of do this. You know, that's something that I've learned from film, just from cinema. I think it's like a language in cinema, is to kind of, like, you know, don't give your monster away too soon. And that's something that I learned from Spielberg's Jaws. You know, in Spielberg's Jaws, you don't see, you know, the shark until, like, towards the last act of the film. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I wanted to do myself in my movie.
Okay, so for the audience that's not familiar with your work, can you kind of explain a little bit about some of your previous work to them?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been doing films for a very long time. I mean, gosh, you know, including short films and little documentaries. I've made well over 100 short films, or just films in general. Mm-hmm. I've made all different kinds of genre movies. I've made vampire movies. I've made, like, post-apocalyptic kind of movies, and I feel like they've all sort of been, you know, leading up to bigger things in my career. Now I finally feel like I'm at a level that I'm doing it very professionally. Mm-hmm. I'm doing it at a level that I'm supposed to be, at least right now. And I mean, I've done, gosh, all kinds of genres. I'm a lover of all kinds of cinema. I never kind of marginalize myself to one genre. And yeah, I kind of want to try it all, honestly.
So, question: do you see yourself working in the television realm anytime soon?
That's a very good question. Yes, I would like to. Because I think right now we're in the golden age of television. Mm-hmm. I think, you know, right now television is like the biggest thing ever, especially with these streaming websites like Netflix, you know, and Hulu and Amazon Prime, and, like, all these guys just cranking out some extremely good television. I would love to. I mean, if the opportunity presents itself, I would 100% be on board doing television.
Yeah, because, like, one of the things that I noticed, like, with Fighting in the Sky and the whole build-up thing, like, that would be actually great to see, like, in an actual episodic type of way, and see it, like, spread out. Because the way that you built it up with the suspense toward the end, like, imagine, like, seeing that over a course of episodes, and I just think it's one of the things that you have people hooked with it.
Yeah, you know what's funny though? You're the second person today to tell me that.
Like, really?
You're literally the second person. I swear to God, someone else told me today that it should have been a TV show. It should have been like this episodic thing, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And now that you mentioned it again, I'm thinking, wow, I should have made this a TV show.
Yeah, man, the build-up is good, man. Like, when you have a good build-up, you just sitting there like, yo, you got kind of spread this out between 3 or 4 episodes real quick.
Yeah. Oh man, I should have. You know what? That might be my next thing. When you never know. That's a great, great thing to know at least.
Okay, so besides that, man, do you have anything else that you're working on towards the future?
I mean, right now I've been consumed promoting Fighting the Sky, which I love because I love aliens, but I feel like I've been stuck with aliens for like the last couple of years, finishing this movie, making it. So it's like every day is like, you know, and I love Aliens, but I'm like getting exhausted with Aliens. So the next thing I'm going to do, and I told my team, I'm like, I'm not doing any CGI. I'm not doing any like monsters or blood or anything. I'm going to do a drama.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we've been preparing a drama called While We're Here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a coming of age story. It's like young high school students, they're seniors, and they're enjoying their last summer before college. So it's very much like Dazed and Confused, American Graffiti. It has that feel good element to it. So that's kind of what I've been working on right now.
Okay, so with bringing up that point, would you say that you're a fan of the Ron Howard type films?
Ron Howard films? Yeah, I really like Ron Howard films. In fact, I've met Ron Howard. He's a really nice guy.
I can believe it, man. He seems like he was like one of the nicest guys in the world, man.
Yeah, he's wonderful. He really is wonderful. He's great. One of my heroes, honestly. He's so cool.
Man, that's amazing. So for our audience members who don't know, can you explain to them where they can find you at on social media and where they can follow you?
Absolutely. They can follow Fighting the Sky is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. They can just @Fighting the Sky or @Fighting the Sky Movie on certain handles. And they can find me personally through Conrad Studios on Facebook and Twitter and on Instagram.
Okay, so we're getting ready to wrap up the interview right now. Any last words that you have for our audience members today?
I just hope they enjoy Fighting the Sky. You know, it comes out February 5th on DVD and digital. It'll be streaming on Amazon and Amazon Prime. It'll be on Xbox, Dish Network on Demand, iTunes. So I just hope everyone enjoys the flick.
Man, thank you, Conrad, and I appreciate you taking the time out to speak with me today.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it was a pleasure. Glad to be here. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you, man. You have a good one.
You have a great one.
All right, thank you. Bye.